Hey winners, good morning. Now this today's time of morning is 6 o'clock, and I am shooting this video to give you knowledge about the Customs Act 1962. The act is very important to customs brokers, importers, and exporters, and who are in logistics business. So you must have the knowledge about the Customs Act 1962. So I'm creating this video and uploading it on the YouTube. So you can listen the videos while traveling, while doing any other activities. As a working professional, you don't have that much time to read the books on daily basis. So you can utilize your traveling time to listen these videos. We have already seen up to the chapter number 16 of the Customs Act 1962. Chapter number 16 is offenses and prosecution. And now the last chapter of the Customs Act 1962 is miscellaneous. So in the same, there are sections from 141 to section 161. So there are 21 sections in this chapter. So very important chapter in the Customs Act 1962. So guys, please listen my videos carefully to understand the Customs Act 1962, because it is not an easy language to understand. If you are listening my videos first time, you will face lot of difficulties to understand the videos. So I am requesting you to please listen my videos again and again carefully. So guys, back on the topic. Now section 141 is Section 141, conveyances and goods in a customs area, subject to control of officers of customs. So, Section 142, recovery of sums due to government. Section 142A, liability under the Act to be first charge. Section 143, power to allow import or export on execution of bonds in certain cases. Section 143A omitted. Section 143AA, power to simplify or provide different procedure etc. to facilitate trade. Section 144, power to take samples. Section 145, owner etc. to perform operations incidental to compliance with customs law. Section 146, license for customs brokers. So Section 146 is for license for customs brokers. Section 146A, appearance by authorized representative. Section 146A, appearance by authorized representative. Section 147, liability of a principal and agent. Section 147, liability of principal and agent. Section 148, liability of agent appointed by the person in charge of a conveyance. Section 148, liability of agent appointed by the person in charge of a conveyance. Section 149, amendment of documents. Section 149, amendment of documents. Section 150, procedure of sale of goods and applications of sale proceeds. Section 150, procedure of sale of goods and application of sale proceeds. Then section 151, certain officers to required to assist officers of customs. Section 151A, instructions to officers of customs. Section 151B, reciprocal arrangement for exchange of information facilitating trade. Section 152, delegation of powers. Section 152, delegation of powers. Section 153, modes of service of notice, order, etc. Section 154, correction of clerical error, etc. Section 154, correction of clerical error, etc. Section 154A, rounding of duty, etc. Section 154A, rounding of duty, etc. Section 154B, publication of information respecting persons in certain cases. Section 154A C, the board may notify a common portal to be called the Common Customs Electronic Portal for facilitating registration. Section 155, protection of action taken under the Act. Section 156, general power to make rules. Section 157, general power to make regulations. Section 157, general power to make regulations. Section 158, provisions with respect to rules and regulations. Section 158, provisions with respect to rules and regulations. Section 159, rules, certain notifications and orders to be laid before Parliament. Section 159, rules, certain notifications and orders to be laid before Parliament. Section 159A, effect of amendments, etc., of rules, regulations, notifications, or orders. Section 159A, effect of amendments, etc., of rules, regulations, notifications, or orders. Section 160, repeal and saving. Section 160, repeal and saving. Section 161, removal of difficulties. Section 161, removal of difficulties. So these are the sections from 141 to section 161 are in the chapter number 17, Miscellaneous, in the Customs Act 1962. So very wide chapter, lots of sections covered in the chapter. So in this video, in detailed, we are going to see from section 141 to section 145. So guys, please listen videos till the end. Now, section 141, conveyances and goods in a customs area subject to control of officers of customs. In the same subsection 1, all conveyances and goods in a customs area shall, for the purpose of enforcing the provisions of this act, be subject to the control of officers of customs. Subsection 2, the imported or export goods may be received, stored, delivered, dispatched, or otherwise handled in a customs area in such manner as may be prescribed, and the responsibilities of persons engaged in the aforesaid activity shall be such as may be prescribed. So, section 141, conveyances and goods in a customs area are subject to control of officers of customs. Section 142, recovery of sums due to government. Section 142, recovery of sums due to government. In the same subsection 1, where any sum payable by any person under this act, including the amount required to be paid to the credit of the central government under section 28B, is not paid, clause A, the proper officer may deduct or may require any other officers of customs to deduct the amount so payable from any money owing to such person, which may be under the control of the proper officer or such other officer of customs. Or clause B, the assistant commissioner of customs or deputy commissioner of customs may recover or may require any other officer of customs to recover the amount so payable by detaining and selling any goods belonging to such person which are under the control of the assistant commissioner of customs or deputy commissioner of customs or such other officer of customs. Okay, so next, clause C, if the amount cannot be recovered from such person in the manner provided in clause A or clause B, then there are provisions. Subclause first, the assistant commissioner of customs or deputy commissioner of customs may prepare a certificate signed by him specifying the amount due from such person and send it to the collector of the district in which such person owns any property or resides or carries on his business, and the said collector on receipt of such certificate shall proceed to recover from such person the amount specified there under as if it were an area of land revenue. Or subclause second, the proper officer may, on an authorization by the principal commissioner of customs or commissioner of customs, and in accordance with the rules made in this behalf, distrain any movable or immovable property belonging to or under the control of such person and detain the same until the amount payable is paid. And in case any part of the said amount payable or of the cost of the distress or keeping of the property remains unpaid for a period of 30 days next after such distress may cause the said property to be sold, and the proceeds of such sale may satisfy the amount payable and the cost including cost of sale remaining unpaid, and shall render the surplus if any to such person, provided that where the person hereinafter referred to as the predecessor by whom any sum payable under this act including the amount required to be paid to the credit of the central government under section 28B is not paid, transfers or otherwise disposes of his business or trade in whole or in part, or effects any change in the ownership thereof, in consequence of which he is succeeded in such business or trade by any other person, all goods, materials, preparations, plants, machineries, vessels, utensils, implements, and articles in the custody or possession of the person so succeeding may also be attached and sold by the proper officer. After obtaining written approval from the principal commissioner of customs or commissioner of customs for the purposes of recovering the amount so payable by such predecessor at the time of such transfer or otherwise disposal of change. So these are the provisions in the section. Now going forward, clause D, in the same subclause first, the proper officer may, by a notice in writing, require any other person from whom such money is due to such person or may become due to such person, or who holds or may subsequently hold money for or on account of such person to pay to the credit of the central government either forthwith upon the money becoming due or being held or at or within the time specified in the notice, not being before the money becomes due or is held so much of the money as is sufficient to pay the amount due from such person, or the whole of the money when it is equal to or less than that amount. Subclause second, every person whom the notice is issued under this section shall be bound to comply with such notice. And in particular, where any such notice is issued to a post office, banking company, or an insurer, it shall not be necessary to produce any passbook, deposit receipt, policy, or any other document for the purposes of any entry, endorsement, or the like being made before the payment is made, notwithstanding any rule, practice, or requirement to the contrary. Subclause third, in case the person to whom a notice under this section has been issued fails to make the payment in pursuance thereof to the central government, he shall be deemed to be a defaulter in respect of the amounts specified in the notice, and all the consequences of the chapter shall follow. Subsection 2. Where in terms of any bond or other instrument executed under this act, or any rules or regulation made thereunder provide that any amount due under such instrument may be recovered in the manner laid down in subsection 1, the amount may, without prejudice to any other mode of recovery, be recovered in accordance with the provisions of that subsection. So, section 142, recovery of sums due to government, is very important section in the Customs Act 1962. So, you have to listen, do study of the same section very thoroughly. Okay, so next section is section 142A, liability under Act to be first charge. Notwithstanding anything contained to the contrary in any central act or state act, or any amount of duty, penalty, interest, or any other sum payable by an SSC or any other person under this act shall, save as otherwise provided in section 529A of the Companies Act 1956, first of 1956, the recovery of debts due to banks, and the Financial Institution Act 1993, 51 of 1993, and the securitization and reconstruction of financial assets, and the imposition of security interest act 2002, and the insolvency and bankruptcy code 2016 be the first charge on the property of the SSC or the person, as the case may be. So section 142A, liability under act to be first charge. Section 143, power to allow import or export on execution of bonds in certain cases. Section 143, power to allow import or export on execution of bonds in certain cases. In the same subsection 1, where this act or any other law requires anything to be done before or person can import or export any goods or clear any goods from the control of the officers of customs, and the assistant commissioner of customs or deputy commissioner of customs is satisfied that, having regard to the circumstances of the case, such things cannot be done before such import, export, or clearance without detriment to that person, the assistant commissioner of customs or deputy commissioner of customs may, notwithstanding anything contained in this act or such other law, grant leave for such import, export, or clearance on the person executing a bond in such amount, and with such surety or security, and subject to such conditions as the assistant commissioner of customs or deputy commissioner of customs approves, for the doing of that thing within such time after the import, export, or clearance as may be specified in the bond. Subsection 2, if the thing is done within the time specified in the bond, the assistant commissioner of customs or deputy commissioner of customs shall cancel the bond as discharged in full, and shall on demand deliver it so cancelled to the person who has executed or who is entitled to receive it, and in such a case that person shall not be liable to any penalty provided in this act, or as the case may be in such other law, for the contravention of the provisions thereof relating to the doing of that thing. Subsection 3. If the thing is not done within the time specified in the bond, the Assistant Commissioner of Customs or Deputy Commissioner of Customs shall, without prejudice to any other action that may be taken under this Act or any other law for the time being in force, be entitled to proceed upon the bond in accordance with the law. So, Section 143, power to allow import or export on execution of bonds in certain cases. Okay. Section 143 is omitted from the Finance Act 2013. Okay. Now, Section 143 AA, power to simplify or provide different procedure, etc., to facilitate trade. Notwithstanding anything contained in any other law for this act, the board may, for the purposes of facilitation of trade, take such measures or prescribe separate procedure or documentation for a class of importers or exporters or for categories of goods or on the basis of the modes of transport of goods in order to cause a maintain a transparency in the import and export documentation. Clause B, expedite clearance or release of goods entered for import or export. Clause C, reduce the transaction cost of clearance of importing or exporting goods. Clause D, maintain balance between customs control and facilitation of legitimate trade. So, Section 143 AA, power to simplify or provide different procedure, etc., to facilitate trade, is also very important section in this chapter. Section 144, power to take samples. Section 144, power to take samples. Subsection 1, the proper officer may, on the entry or clearance of any goods or at any time while such goods are being passed through the customs area, take samples of such goods in the presence of the owner thereof for examination or testing, or for ascertaining the value thereof, or for any other purposes of this act. Subsection 2, after the purpose for which a sample was taken is carried out, such sample shall, if practicable, be restored to the owner. But if the owner fails to take delivery of the sample within 3 months of the date on which the sample was taken, it may be disposed of in such manner as the Principal Commissioner of Customs or Commissioner of Customs may direct. Subsection 3, no duty shall be chargeable on any sample of goods taken under this section which is consumed or destroyed during the course of any test or examination thereof. So, Section 144, power to take samples. Section 144, power to take samples. Section 145, owner, etc., to perform operations incidental to compliance with customs law. Section 145, owner, etc., to perform operations incidental to compliance with customs law. All operations necessary for making any goods available for examination by the proper officer or for facilitating such examination shall be performed by or at the expenses of the owner, importer, exporter of the goods as the case may be. So, Section 145, owner, etc., to perform operational, incidental to compliance with customs law. So, these are the sections from Section 141 to Section 145 we have seen in this video. So, upcoming sections from 146 we are going to see in the next video. So, stay tuned with me. Once again, I am repeating which sections I have teach you in this video. So, section 141 is conveyances and goods in a customs area are subject to control of officers of customs. Section 142, recovery of sums due to government. Section 142A, liability under Act to be first charged. Section 143, power to allow import or export on execution of bonds in certain cases. Section 143 AA power to simplify or provide different procedure etc. to facilitate trade. Section 144 power to take samples. Section 145 owner etc. to perform operations incidental to compliance with customs law. So these are the sections we have seen in this video. So guys, we'll meet you again in the next video. Till then, bye bye and take care.